I am joined now by Ike Skelton. He is a county commissioner at Lake of the Ozarks, actually. And I know Ike because I was honored to speak last year as the keynote speaker for the Reagan Days dinner at Lake of the Ozarks. And he was involved in that, one of the leaders of that. But he's also a county commissioner there at Lake of the Ozarks. And he's making some news. How many of you don't want to be tracked and everything you do monitored and tracked and your license plate pictures taken and whatnot? How many of you are not for 15-minute cities where the government can know everything about you when you're going, when you're coming, and all that? Well, he recently, I think, actually took matters into his own hands. And you guys, some of you might applaud it. Let's talk to Ike. I think we're one of the first people to get an interview, at least on a national level. Mr. Skelton, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely, Mr. House. Thank you for having me.
Hey, tell me your story. Tell us what happened.
So I've been looking at Agenda 21 for a long time and various things and this big world governance picture. And I certainly see where things are going with surveillance and tracking. And then lo and behold, these automatic license plate readers made by the Flock Corporation wind up all over the place. And they happen to wind up in Camden County, where I am the presiding commissioner. And it is just abhorrent to me that we have these things that can absolutely track everywhere, that not only you're going, but where you've been. The information is archived. They don't only just look for your license plate, they can also pick up bumper stickers, the colors of vehicles, and so forth. So I saw these in the county. And I was fairly newly elected, but that's what I ran on. The very first thing I did was took an oath to the Constitution. I didn't take an oath to the state of Missouri. I didn't take an oath honestly, I didn't take an oath to my constituents. I took an oath to the Constitution of the United States and to the state of Missouri. And to uphold that oath is, I believe, one of my very first responsibilities, other than roads and bridges in our county, is to protect individuals' rights. I believe that it is the responsibility of every elected official at every level of government to interpose on behalf of their citizens against tyranny that may arise out of the state, local, or national government. So here these things
I can't argue with any of that, and I don't know any common sense person would argue with that. Let me ask you before you tell us what happened. Would you agree with my initial statement that a lot of this is preparing the technology and people to get used to the idea of 15-minute cities, which I think is a part of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030?
I would absolutely agree with that. Sure enough, they're already doing this in Europe right now. They maybe not the 15-minute city stuff as much, but they are now tracking and recognizing vehicles that are of a particular age or don't have the proper emission controls that go into particular areas of Europe. The license plate reader captures their license plate. They know the year of the vehicle because of registration, and if it doesn't fit in within their guidelines, you are sent a ticket in the mail because you drove a vehicle that is too old, has too high emissions, into an area where they don't want you to be.
All right. So you went and took one of these down, or more than one, is that right?
Yes. So the county created. We had meetings. We did the due process. We then created an ordinance that required them to be removed. They were prohibited in Camden County. So we then sent letters to the Flock Corporation as well as the Missouri Department of Public Safety, because those are the folks that have put them up and deployed them through the sheriff's departments. So we sent these letters. Nobody did anything. And at the end of the year, I saw that nobody was going to do anything. I went and took it down. We have an ordinance that required them to come down, so I took it down. We contacted the Flock Corporation, let them know that we had their camera and that they could come get it.
Okay, now you, the lower third on the TV screen saying you've been charged with felonies over alleged removal of a license plate reader. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, how could you be charged with a felony if you, as a commissioner and the others, passed an ordinance saying they're illegal? How can it be therefore illegal and therefore a felony for you to remove them? Sounds like to me you're actually complying with the law.
Well, that's the way I look at it, and that's why I did what I did. I believe I'm certainly working for the county in my official capacity to do what I've done. The state feels otherwise, obviously. I suppose they believe that, of course, they being a state entity, a county ordinance cannot surpass a state ordinance. However, there is no enabling language, and these are some of the things that I looked for before I took it down. The state does not actually own those cameras. The memorandum of understanding between the Flock Corporation and the Department of Public Safety show that the cameras are owned by the Flock Corporation, or at least they were at the time. I don't know about now, but at that time they were owned by the Flock Corporation, so it was not state property. There is no enabling language that we can find in the state of Missouri anywhere that authorized them to be put up, other than maybe an executive order by the governor, which is not law, as you know. So I felt that it was the duty of myself to carry out our ordinance, and I believe that because there was no enabling language or any other thing that said the state could do what they did, I enforced our ordinance and took the license plate reader down.
Okay, so who has charged you with the felony? The state?
Me. Yes, the state has charged me with a felony, yes.
And
so
they didn't arrest you, but have you been summoned to court or what?
I haven't even been served yet. I haven't been served. I haven't been sent a summons. I haven't been anything. They took it to the media before they ever took it to me. So everybody in the world knows what's happening other than myself. I just happened to, actually somebody came into my office and said, "Hey, have you looked at the news on social media?" I said, "Well, no, I haven't." And that's when I found out that I was charged. So I still do not even officially know that I have been charged.
You think it's fake news, or have you been? You don't really know, do you?
Well, I've seen a probable cause statement, and I have seen it's on CaseNet, so you can see the filing there. So, yes, I've been charged. It's been filed. I just haven't been personally served or summoned yet. There's even allegedly a court date of April 22nd. So.
Okay, so are you expecting there to be an arrest warrant, or are you expecting you just show up to get a summons to show up to court?
I think they're just going to go the summons route. I believe that is true. Otherwise, I think they would have already probably arrested me. I mean, it's only about maybe 100 feet from my office to the sheriff's department. So yeah, I think it's going to be. Look, I have an incredible amount of support here locally. I've been espousing this type of things for 10 years before I got elected on a local radio show, espousing freedom, espousing liberty, talking about Agenda 21 and the ills of it and Agenda 2030. So the people knew exactly who I was when they elected me, and I believe that I am carrying out exactly what the people would like me to do.
So are you going for a constitutional attorney? Are you going for someone with a national reputation, or are you going with a local guy? What are you going to do? Because this obviously could help set precedent for your whole state, a state issue, but eventually I guess some of these issues might become federal, but certainly you could help set precedent for the whole state.
Well, I would. That would be fantastic if something comes out that way. If there is anybody listening that wants to jump on board and knows what they're doing and maybe help us out, we'd certainly look at that. There is a local attorney that I believe is going to do a good job on some of the minor filings, but I have an attorney out of Kansas City that I've looked at. And there's a couple of others that I'm going to consider. We've got a little time before pleading. So I'm trying to find the best team that I can put together, because not only am I not going to plead guilty to anything, I believe that we are going to mount an incredibly vigorous defense and knock this thing out of the park.
How many commissioners are there, Camden County commissioners altogether?
There are three. There's a first district, a second district, and a presiding commissioner.
How are the other two responding to this?
One commissioner is, well, to be honest with you, I think it would probably be best to ask them.
Okay.
I think I have them on my side for the most part. The one commissioner is very new. He just took office in January and has a peripheral understanding of what is going on here. But my first district commissioner has been with me on board the whole ride. So I think he'll be very supportive, and I believe the second district commissioner will be supportive as well.
What is it you do for a living, may I ask?
I'm the presiding commissioner of Camden County. That's all I do now. I took a hit, and I was a locksmith, and I had a locksmith shop here at Lake of the Ozarks. Very, very lucrative business. I did well, but this is truly my passion. And fortunately, it pays enough that I can pay my bills and take care of my family. So this is what I do full time.
Good for you. Now, forgive me if I'm confusing you with someone else. I don't think I am. Are you one of the commissioners that made national news standing up to the ATF?
I am the commissioner, yes.
You are
the other two
commissioner.
stood with me as well, yes. But yeah,
yes.
Well, I started it all, yes.
Okay, and we reported on that. And we were commending you for that. I just want to make sure because I think I've met a couple of you guys when I was at the Reagan dinner. So you
yes.
already have a reputation for standing up to state tyranny and federal tyranny. Tell our audience, for maybe those who don't know, about the ATF situation.
So the Bureau of ATF came to, so first, Missouri and Camden County was the first county in Missouri to pass an ordinance called the Second Amendment Preservation Act that basically said we are not going to be commandeered by the federal government and help them enforce any firearms laws that we actually believe are fully unconstitutional. So when soon after I was elected, the ATF contacted our planning and zoning office and asked them about information of FFL holders in Camden County. They wanted to know if they were properly zoned and if they had been paying their business license. And this is what I love about the people of Camden County. Even one of our employees saw that and said, you know what, I bet Ike would like to know about this because I don't want to comply. She sent it to me, and that's exactly what we did. I told the ATF that it's my understanding that they're unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned. All firearms laws are unconstitutional, and Camden County, especially because of SAPA, is not going to help them enforce any of their unconstitutional laws. They can go figure it out on their own.
Mm. And so how did the ATF respond to that?
Well, they didn't respond really directly to me much at all. They did send if I remember, I don't remember if they sent me. Anyhow, they didn't respond well. They responded to the media. They said that what I was doing was hindering people from being able to get their license, that it was making it more difficult, and all these different sorts of things, which that really wasn't the truth at all. As a matter of fact, the three individuals that were involved thanked me very much for interposing on their behalf and making the federal government do what they think is the proper job their own way and not allowing any of our people to be commandeered.
What do you make now that we have a new FBI director who is also now, I think, the acting director of the ATF, Kash Patel? What do you think progress we'll see? What progress? Well,
I'm hoping that they have the courage to really look at these things. One of our our federal representative for the state of Missouri, 7th District, Eric Burleson, as well as Mark Alford. Eric Burleson filed a bill to eliminate the ATF. He has also filed bills to repeal the NFA. And our 4th District Commissioner, Mark Alford, has signed on to both of those issues. So I'm hoping that something can go forward. My biggest really concern with that is that they will just simply kind of tweak the edges a little bit, maybe, tune the dial in something, limit their abilities when I believe that it needs to be repealed and that agency eliminated.
How many other counties are watching you and maybe are following your example the last few years in Camden County?
A lot of folks, I'm a member of a couple of statewide associations. There are some really great people in Missouri. Many of them have just been kind of going along to get along. They kind of feel like they're being freight trained, that their voice is not being heard. So they don't stand up as much now that I've come along and a little more willing to take the slings and arrows. They're standing behind me and saying, hey, we're following him. So I think that with a little bit of leadership, a little more leadership and some time, we'll be able to turn the tide of some of the things that kind of lean a lot more left than I believe they need to be. So, not a comparison by any stretch of the imagination, but President Trump is leading the way he leads. I'm trying to lead the way I lead, and folks are following. So,
and Camden County is kind of becoming known by some people around the country as being a place to go where there's a little more freedom. and you're growing as a county with people moving in there because of some of that. Is that true?
That's true, and I pray God that that's true, and I give him the glory for anything good that we have happening here. But yes, I think that is accurate. Yes, it's this again. The Lake of the Ozarks area is a phenomenal place. They tried to shame us during COVID when everybody else was locked down. We were having fun. We were out on the lake. We were enjoying ourselves. We didn't involve ourselves with the social distancing. If you wanted to wear a mask, you go wear a mask. If you didn't, you didn't. So we didn't do any of the lockdown nonsense and so forth. So yes, Camden County is a little bit different, and we're very proud of that.
And as a result, they were mocking you on national media. I don't know if it was drones or helicopters or both flying over some of the restaurants on the lake that have swim-up pools and bars. And they were mocking you guys like you're a bunch of hillbillies that were going to then grab the virus and take it back to St. Louis or Kansas City, where a lot of people come from St. Louis or Kansas City for vacation on the weekends. And I remember them talking about, how dangerous and irresponsible it was, and you guys were going to spread death. That didn't happen. You didn't enforce. It got out that you weren't enforcing mandates. It got out you weren't enforcing lockdowns, masking, all of that, as you said. And am I correct that I read that the county ended up having what is normally 5 million visitors that year, had 10 million visitors that summer?
That is correct. The now defunct, what I believe is defunct TMZ, flew a drone over, and you're very correct. They tried to belittle us and say that we were going to kill thousands and millions of people, and it absolutely backfired on them because, look, as well as you know, every human being yearns for freedom. Unfortunately, many have to survive within the tyranny that they were born to. We are very fortunate here in America to be able to make more of our own decisions and be that free country that everybody yearns to be. And that's exactly what we did in Camden County. That's what we're going to continue to do in Camden County. And we will lead the faithful.
And because of that, people started moving there after they vacationed. You went from 5 million to 10 million visitors that summer. And many of them said, you know what, I think I'm going to move here. And they started buying houses there, and your property values went right up, and they've stayed up pretty well, have they not?
Some property values have doubled and tripled. That is absolutely correct. We have an extreme shortage of houses here because of that. Almost every open house was purchased, condos, all of it. The housing market is incredibly slow here at the lake. There's stuff there. Don't misunderstand. Come to the lake if you want to, but you might have to have a little bit bigger checkbook than you did 4 or 5 years ago. So
your property values doubled or tripled because of supply and demand, because people heard the lake doesn't, the county doesn't enforce lockdowns and masks and everything and social distancing, and they're like, hey, we'd like to live in a place where it's free. And you're kind of obviously, we've held our national conference there for several years in a row. It's a beautiful place, rolling hills of the Ozarks. It's the largest man-made lake in America, 1,150 miles of shoreline. And people came there, they fell in love with it. My wife's family had been vacationing there since she was 7. And they fell in love with it, started buying property. Now your property values have doubled and tripled. And there you go. So no wonder. And maybe this will continue because your story, again, I'm pretty sure now is going to go nationwide. A county commissioner, Camden County, Mr. Ike Skelton is saying no to Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. No, we don't want government surveillance and tracking. No, we don't want 15-minute cities. I think this story's got to get some legs. Closing comment?
Well, I thank you and others that spread this message every day. I am very honored to represent the people of Camden County, to continue to protect their God-given rights guaranteed by the Constitution. And, come to Camden County. Come and see us. Enjoy what we have here. We'd love for you to. And regardless of what happens with all of this, I will continue to fight for our constitutional rights and attempt to get others to do the same thing. So, yes.
Will you come back for an update?
Absolutely. Yes, I would. I would be honored to. You betcha.
And what about a social media page? Do you have an X account or anything else people could follow?
So I really don't. So I'm hesitant on. I don't really know. I don't even know if I should have done all this, but I did. We didn't get into any legal things, and I appreciate that. You know how they all give you the advice. But I think this is just an issue that the country needs to know about, and really win, lose, or draw. I've stood up for what I believe is right, and I'm hoping that others will do it. If in the end, something bad goes for me, but there's enough light put on this that we start looking at this on a national level and rein in that surveillance state that is being created. Look, if this thing actually gets put in nationwide, and I think it almost already is, the federal government will be able to track every single person everywhere you go 24 hours a day at any time. And I think that is abhorrent. And in the end, I would just like to see this process eliminated.
Oh, so much here in this interview. And I appreciate your strong stance. And Mr. Skelton, we definitely want to follow it. Please stay in touch. Bring us an update as soon as there's more.
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you, sir. Ike Skelton checking in tonight. Lake of the Ozarks County Commissioner, a story that just broke today. And look at that. We've already got it on the air. And maybe it'll set an example for others to follow. Again, we talk about Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and I have since the early 90s. We talk about 15-minute cities, the World Economic Forum. Well, here's a guy who got elected overwhelmingly who was talking about those things and now is seeking to keep his campaign promises. And sounds like they passed an ordinance saying we're not going to do this, but it stayed up. So we're going to follow this story. Find it very interesting and good for him. Hey, again, folks, if you appreciate the fact that we cover stories like this, will you go to this website right here, worldviewtube.com/sponsors, worldviewtube.com/sponsors. You know we're a listener-supported program. I got to bring in about $40,000 a month, as you know, to keep this network going. That does not include my salary. That's just my hard cost. Thousands of dollars a month in bandwidth bill to give away free programming. Then all the guys in the control room, I got to pay them. Okay, a workman's worthy of his hire, right? And then we have all kinds of licenses. One company, we have to pay them $10,000 a year to have a right to use certain footage and graphics for federal copyright laws. We have another license that is software for doing these lower thirds that you see. We have all kinds of license that we're required to buy each and every year. Then we have a 24/7 when it comes to air conditioning. Yeah, 24/7. Even in the winter, we still pay for air conditioning because those rooms where we have all of our servers and racks and studio equipment for producing in the control room, those rooms get really hot. I don't care what the temperature is outside. It gets really hot inside when you have all of those machines putting off heat. And those rooms get so hot that not only can the boys not work in there because it's getting too warm, but then the machines, we put them at risk of overheating. So anybody that's in IT that works with servers and computers and big rooms and racks of computers knows what I'm talking about. So we have to pay an AC bill 24/7, which means we also have to have an AC guy come out fairly frequently and do different work because we run these things like crazy. So I could just go on and sit here and tell you about all the different things that we have to pay for. Suffice to say that it takes a lot to run a network, and it really takes a lot when we're giving the programming away for free. When many groups put it all behind a paywall. Here we are pushing out the 24/7 stream. The content you watch is put back up to watch on demand for free. And then we build Roku channels, Amazon Fire channels, iOS apps, Android apps, all that for free. So I need your support. You know it. And these are great products. I use them. I hope you'll use them. Swish for Life, that's loaded with glutathione to detox your cells. I swish with it for about 3 minutes every day. If you get sick, you can swish with it. Dr. Lana says every hour on the hour. Some studies show it may remove mercury from your brain, helping prevent Alzheimer's dementia. Of course, you already know about Bella Grace. I take this every day. This is loaded with a collagen. Which is the peptides cut short so your body actually can absorb it versus flushing it through. Then you add that with astaxanthin, which crosses the brain-blood barrier. That's loaded with antioxidants to take on the free radicals. And then cat's claw, which is an anti-inflammatory, which a lot of our problems are inflammation related. There are 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. If you go there to melissahousebg.com, you can find out all about it. melissahousebg.com. They don't only have the elixir. Yep, they have that. Get a subscription like we have. About 1,000 of you do now. And you keep getting your subscription because it's actually doing something for you like it does for us. So this works, folks. But they also have the skincare. Melissa loves the skincare. The Bella Trim, she likes that. Takes away her appetite. Also supposed to be very good for your cardio health. It's all natural. And she was telling me there are studies on how it helps to fight stubborn belly fat. So there you go. The sleep, restorative sleep, she loves that. She takes 2 of those because that helps her with her problem of waking up in the middle of the night and then not being able to get back to sleep. So she loves that. She loves the Bella products. She told me that a couple weeks ago. I love their product. I love all their products. Well, she's the one that found this company, started using their products and telling me, you have to promote this company. It'd be a great way for your people to support us, but get great products they need to help their health. And that's how we feel. So it's a great way to support us and your health at the same time. melissahousebg.com, melissahousebg.com. Of course, you already know about Gatatana. I drink this every day. I put half a scoop on Dolly's food, as you know. Can we go to the Dolly cam, by the way? I go to the Dolly cam while I finish my Bella Grace. Oh yeah, I see the camera's spinning. It's a robotic camera. There she is. There she is. Yeah. Isn't she adorable? She loves to hang her head off. I don't know why. But she gets half a scoop of Gatatana. My wife is threatening to buy a full-size body pillow to put between us at night. Because Dolly likes to lay up with her head like a human next to me. And apparently she likes to stretch about 30 times a night and pushes right into Melissa's arm or back with her sharp claws and wakes her up. So Melissa said today, your dog wakes me up so many times in the middle of the night because she stretches. For whatever reason, she lays with her back to you, but her feet to me, stretches and pushes against me. She said, I think I'm going to have to get a full-size body pillow to put between us so I have a barrier from your dog. Okay. So there you go. She's on Gatatana. We love Dolly. We want her to live for a long time. There's a cat that had a tumor in its eye. Now they got a Gatatana, tumor's gone. There are trials on this. You can read about this. You don't have to get the pet product. You can just do what I do. Give half a scoop of your Gatatana to your dog or pet. I get a full scoop in water. She gets half a scoop. Got trace minerals in it as well, which is great for animals. But for us, it's got all kinds of things as well. Amino acids, vitamins, beta carotene, all kinds of stuff. Check it out there at melissahousegpa.com or worldviewtube.com/sponsors. You'll find all of our sponsors right there, worldviewtube.com/sponsors.